Is the end of Vladimir Putin near? Well, let's analyze his statement. Is the end of Vladimir Putin near? Well, let's analyze his statement. Is foreign, music, images? As you could see, Putin was outraged by the actions of the Wagner Group. I will explain in a didactic manner who they are and the possible repercussions for Vladimir Putin's government and the war. Let's start with a brief explanation about the Wagner Group. It is a private security company that provides services to major Russian mining companies in the African continent. Initially, the group was composed of high-ranking soldiers from the Russian army. However, during the war in Syria, the Wagner Group, which has strong ties to the Kremlin, started operating as mercenaries for the Russian government. They were sent to Syria to support the regime of Bashar al-Assad, especially in the city of Aleppo. The group specializes in urban warfare. After achieving victory in Syria, the Wagner Group gained influence in Vladimir Putin's government. In 2014, during the crisis in Ukraine, when there was the withdrawal of the pro-Russian president, Putin decided to intervene in Crimea to avoid international backlash and conflicts within his own army. It was at this moment that Vladimir Putin called upon the Wagner Group, which had an active role in the Crimean Peninsula. During the early stages of the war in Ukraine, with the Russian invasion of Ukrainian territory, the Wagner Group played a significant role. Their expertise in urban warfare was crucial for the conquest of territory. The use of ground forces is crucial to occupy and control a territory, not just to bomb or threaten. The Wagner Group, consisting of approximately 20 to 25,000 soldiers, operated in conjunction with the army, particularly in eastern Ukraine. As the Wagner Group suffered casualties, Vladimir Putin's government started releasing prisoners and recruiting foreigners to join the Wagner Group, which consists of mercenaries and is not directly affiliated with the Russian army. This group played a crucial role in the conquest of several cities during bloody battles against the Ukrainian army, expanding Russian territory in Ukraine. However, it is important to highlight that the Wagner Group is composed of individuals with questionable reputations, including ex-convicts. This naturally generated controversy within Vladimir Putin's government. Some sectors of the government are opposed to the involvement of this group in the war in Ukraine and have begun to take notice of their activities. It was at this point that the owner of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, realized that his position was threatened. He began orchestrating an internal movement against the Secretary of Defense. Now let's consider some geographical analyses. Geography plays a fundamental role in war because understanding the geography is essential to conquering territory, which is the main objective of any conflict. It is important to emphasize that the following analyses are based on geographical facts and not personal preferences. Firstly, it is questionable whether the owner of the Wagner Group has dialogue with other forces involved in the conflict, such as Ukraine, the United States, and the European Union. It could be an individual maneuver, considering he claims that part of his army was attacked by the Russian army. This situation raises suspicions. Another point to consider is the possible internal opponents in Russia, such as millionaire oligarchs, who may be affected by the conflict and orchestrating the Wagner Group as an uprising to expose the vulnerability of Vladimir Putin and generate an internal movement to remove him from power. These are only analyses and speculations. Is this group just an empty threat and lacks the courage to reach Moscow, triggering a civil war in Russia? This is a question to be considered and debated. What is your opinion on the true motive behind the Wagner Group presenting itself as an opponent of Vladimir Putin? International leaders are cautious because any statement could further instigate Putin and the Wagner Group. In Putin's statement, he stated that it is an internal problem and not relevant to others. This reveals a fragility in Putin's government. Let's analyze geographically for a better understanding. The city where the Wagner Group took control is Rostov, which is approximately 900 kilometers from Moscow, Russia. This city is strategically located near the border with Ukraine. Furthermore, it is connected to Crimea and the Ukrainian territory, which are occupied by the Russian army and the Wagner Group. This region is crucial because any movement by the Russian army will have to directly confront the Wagner Group, unless they choose to enter Ukrainian territory through another route, which would completely change the dynamics of the war.